Hello, my darling, and welcome to day 32 of 100 Days of Self-Love. Today, we're talking about rude people. Do you know those people, like, you go into a shop and they just can't be bothered to serve you, and then they look you up and down like this? Or you're in a hotel and everything's too much bother for them, and they just answer you like, key, what you doing? You know, like those kind of people just are excessively rude for no reason. Or it could be a co-worker of yours that is just thinks that they're superior in some way and looks down on everybody else and is just unnecessarily curt and rude. The temptation is, as women, generally, we do one of two things. We either shrink back and play small and kind of apologize for our existence, which eats at our soul. You know, when we play small, it eats at us. We need to stand in our sacred ground a bit more. Or we go the other way and join in. Well, what are you? Who do you think you're looking like? My one of my daughters is a bit like that. You know, she's 22, and she kind of like, don't you go looking at me? And I'm like, come on. And so we tend to do one of those two things. Now, the problem with playing small is that we can shame ourselves for doing it. And when somebody's really rude to you and you would just love to give them that answer, and yet it makes you feel small and frustrated, quite often when you felt like that, you then cry. And I'm laughing because most of the time I cry a lot. I'm a big crier, like huge. I usually cry at happy things. So like if somebody's like proud of their kids because they're on stage, or there's something on TV and it's so, I'm a crier. I'm just a crier. But usually happy tears or empathetic tears. The worst kind of crying that I do, that I hate, and I know all emotions are okay, but this is the one that I find most disturbing, is when I cry because I'm frustrated. If somebody frustrates me, if somebody's being rude and it's unfair, or if somebody's being angry at me and it's something I haven't done, if I get frustrated with them because I feel it's unfair, it's one of my strengths, fairness, so it becomes one of my needs for other people to be fair to me, I get really, really upset, and then it makes me cry. And the last thing you want to be doing in front of somebody who is being obnoxious and horrible is cry, right? Because they're being wrong. You don't want them to affect you. So on that note, how can we love ourselves more in the face of rudeness? Like, how can we protect ourselves? How can we make sure we come out with grit and grace? Because if you shame yourself and you get frustrated or what, and you play small, you could cry or just become this shell of a you. And similarly, if you join in with them and kind of go down, you drag yourself down to their level of kind of like giving it back, you won't be happy with yourself either. So we're like, okay, either way, I lose. So what can I do instead? And this is what I want to teach you today. As an expression of self-love, I want you to kind of act with grit and grace. Grace, as in you don't go down to their level, you don't sink to their level. Grit, as in you're not going to play small and just shrink away. So this is what I want you to do. And I love doing this because it flummoxes people. It takes them off guard. It just quietens them down. And peace of mind is one of the most underrated but yet most beautiful states that we can be in. So here's my advice on this one. Somebody's being really rude to you. I want you to look them directly in the eyes and just say, are you okay? You having a bad day? Because when you do that, they kind of, if they carry on being rude and obnoxious after that point, they look like idiots. You actually catch them off guard because they're waiting for you to either back away or fight them back. And if you just go, are you okay? And you kind of like inquire about them, usually they'll just neutralize themselves immediately, because they'll realize if they carry on bustling around and you're asking about their well-being, they just seem ridiculous. Plus, you can leave the situations thinking, I did good there. Like I've acted with grit and grace. I haven't demeaned myself. I haven't lowered myself, and I haven't played small. I've actually come out of that being elegant almost. Does that make sense? So it's thinking about, this is a specific example today that we're talking about with self-love, but it's also thinking, Are there any other situations where I don't like the way that I respond to that? So I hate it, as I said to you, I hate it when I cry, when I'm frustrated. So I try and ease my frustration so I don't get to the point where I get upset. But have a think for yourself. Are there any other situations in your life where you know someone triggers you, or a certain situation triggers you, and you respond in a way that you don't like? Genuinely, if there is something I can help you with, please type it into the comments below. I'm more than happy to make a video and just give you that way to act in a way that you feel, yeah, I handled that well. All right, my darlings, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you would like any of my help, pop to my website, kategrosvenor.com, or message me if there's anything that I can do or any coaching that you'd be interested in. Take care, and I'm going to speak to you.